It can be really draining to declutter if you don't have a solid plan. Without a solid plan, you may find that you're running into a lot of roadblocks. But these roadblocks could potentially be avoided if you are practicing mindfulness and bringing in some intentions before diving headfirst into your decluttering practice. Trust me, I've known because I've done many different ways and styles of decluttering over the years. Some have learned to burnout, some have learned to frustration, and some I just abandoned altogether. If you're getting ready to bring in some new energy and refresh and reorganize your space, then you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my best tips when it comes to decluttering when you're overwhelmed. And the best part, these tips are designed to feel doable without feeling overwhelming or stressful. Decluttering is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. So you want to make sure that it feels manageable and sustainable. I'm Danni, your former architect turned holistic interior designer focused on bringing more mindfulness intentions into your home for overall wellness and well-being. Welcome to day 5 of Holistic Home Updates Made Easy. In this series, I'm guiding you through simple and meaningful actions that you can bring into your home to refresh your energy for the new year. You can pick this up at any time your home needs a refresh, a reboot, or an update. Okay, let's go. So when I began my decluttering practice, I tried and failed at many things. And it wasn't until I began looking into my space more holistically that I really began to become more successful in this practice. And let me tell you, I am still no Marie Kondo. I like to have a comfortable home. I have a young family. Things are not always going to be 100% in order and in place. And I'm happy with that. Having said that, there are ways that I have establishing managing clutter in a way that feels more sustainable and true to me. So if you've been following along in this series, you may know that we're now on day 5 and we haven't even touched a single piece of clutter yet. And that's because I really want you to look at your spaces more holistically. And if you're just tuning in, you may want to go back to the first few videos so that you can understand what is the meaning behind your clutter. But now that we've established all that, let's actually begin to tackle your space. So these are some steps and practices that I have tried and picked up along the way. Some I have been really successful with, some I have not been. And so I've kind of tweaked them all into my own unique process, which works for me. Everyone has their own emotional attachments to their clutter, therefore their motivations towards it is going to look different. But this is how I do it, and this is what works for me. I picked up this step back during quarantine, so I had a lot more time and intention to spend with this. And the tip is to build up momentum by starting small. This step is super easy because on day 1, you pick one thing to declutter. I'm 100%. You can look around your space right now and find one thing. If you can't, start by looking in your fridge. There's probably something in there you could throw out with an old AF expiration date. And I'm not saying you gotta go by the expiration dates, because I'll be going past the expiration date. But sometimes when we looking at over a year or 2 or 3, sometimes I'm just saying, check your fridge. On day 2, you want to declutter 2 things. On day 3, you want to declutter 3 things. So it's not about this massive undertaking. It's about starting slow and steady. This is going to get you ramped up in the process, and it's going to build a habit, and it's going to build momentum. This has been the best way for me, because honestly, most of the times, like, I think about decluttering and I think it's like, oh, it's this huge thing to do, but we're not looking at it like that anymore, because we're taking away that scarcity mindset. So we're just starting small and steady steps. This approach creates momentum because your tiny wins are going to create big progress. Plus, it gives you a sense of accomplishment without feeling overwhelmed. And I, for one, I am very goal motivated. As I see a goal, I can achieve a goal, and then I feel accomplished when I have success around the goal. So I think the sweet spot for this is doing it for about 5 to 10 days. Sometimes you'll build up the momentum and you're like, okay, I want to do more. If you're feeling that, then we're going to go on to the next step. I'd be surprised if you're not feeling the momentum by then. But if you're still not feeling the momentum, then try to do it for another 5 days. The original challenge that I did was 30 days, and that was a huge undertaking. I think around day 20, I hit a wall, because think, like, by the time you're at day 20, you've exponentially decluttered so many things, like, I don't know, the math, like over hundreds of things at this point. So it got overwhelming with trying to find something else to declutter. Okay, so step 2. So now that you're excited about decluttering and you've gotten your momentum going and you're just looking for new things and new items in which you can declutter, because trust me, once you go through step 1, you're going to start looking around your space like, what can I declutter next? It becomes like a game. So after you've got this momentum going and you have the drive, take it up a notch and declutter either a small space. So this could be a tabletop, a drawer, those trunk drawers that we have in our kitchen that fill up with all kinds of random things. Pantry. Ooh, you can do the pantry one shelf at a time. I'm not saying do the whole pantry at once. One pantry shelf at a time, one garage shelf at a time, one linen shelf at a time. Just like one area. Don't think about, oh, I have to do. We're not doing that. I have to do the whole closet. No, we're not doing that. I get to declutter one clothing rack. I get to declutter one section of shoes. So it could be a small area or it could be a category. So when I was going through that 30-day challenge, I found that I got to a point where I got to greeting cards, and I had hundreds of greeting cards. So instead of me just looking for like 20 greeting cards on day 20 day and saving the rest, I'm like, no, I'm just going to go through all these greeting cards today. Another thing I had was, reusable shopping bags. We get like so many of these reusable totes from just random places, freebies. Some of them are nice, some of them we stash. I had like dozens of them that wasn't being used. I pared it down to like 4 of my favorites, and those are the ones that I use all the time. Like, you don't need dozens of reusable shopping bags. It's silly. So find a category of things that are accumulating. One day it could be jewelry, but even if you're like, I have so much jewelry, okay, we'll break it down. Earrings, necklaces, rings. Anytime you begin to get overwhelmed at the task, look at it and say, okay, all right, I'm gonna take a step back. Where can I pare it down? Because we're not looking at this with any more scarcity and lack mindset. We're not getting overwhelmed and anxious about this anymore. How can I pare this down and turn it into a more manageable step? If it becomes unmanageable, then don't stop. Just pick back up at that day 5 or day 10, wherever you were in finding things to declutter. What you don't want to do is just stop altogether. My third tip is my personal favorite, because I have kept up with this practice for the past 3 years, and it's really served me very well. So I keep paper bags in big storage locations such as closets, pantries, linen closets. Well, that's a closet, obviously, but I keep them in all the closets, in the bedrooms, in the laundry room, especially. Not necessarily in the garage. I do boxes in the garage, and in the living room, it's tricky because like having a paper bag in your living room is not like aesthetic, but I found that if I switched it to like more of an aesthetic basket, then that creates a home. And the reason why the paper bag method works for me is because that's temporary. You don't want it to live there. So the paper bag method is you're keeping the bag in this space, and whenever you come across a sock that doesn't have a match, clothes that you've outgrown, the kids have outgrown, you throw them in that paper bag, and then once the bag gets full, you take it out, you put it in the car. The next time you're out driving around, you take it to your closest donation center. This method is simple because it's an ongoing process. It keeps declutter from piling up, and it's a visual reminder for you that you are creating space for more abundance in your life and your home. The problem with these huge overhauls is, we tackle these big spaces, we get overwhelmed with the process, we wind up getting triggered, overwhelmed, we might regret some things that we have let go of because we weren't really doing it mindfully. Having a daily routine, or at least a weekly routine of decluttering, is going to create a habit and a mindset of caring for your space. It becomes a practice of self-care at this point. What I really like to do is attach it to a daily routine that you're already doing. Not something that feels stressful, but I'm really big on routines. I mean, we're creatures of habit, so the best way to keep this consistent is to attach it to something that we're already doing instead of trying to create something new. I encourage you to look at your daily routine and see where you may have a little time flexibility of 10 to 15 minutes a day is really all that you need to incorporate this into your day. For me, I make it a part of my after school ritual. So when my kids get home and they're having their afternoon snack, doing their homework, and while I'm in between with homework help and tidying up, I will create this extra 10 to 15 minutes for decluttering. It's something that I'm already doing, so I just incorporate it into another fulfilling and joyful part of my day. So I encourage you to find a spot that you have a habit that you like. Maybe it's a morning habit, maybe it's an evening habit before you go to bed. It should be something that you don't really think much of so that it remains consistent and sustainable within your daily life. Decluttering isn't about having less. It is not about taking things away. It is not about what you have to do or give up. It should come from a place of wholeness and abundance because you're wanting to create more space for what truly matters and resonates with your soul. This gives you more space for the clarity and the support and the playfulness for the life you want to live. If you remember, those were the intentions that I set up at the beginning of this journey. I encourage you to keep going back to those intentions that you set up because I have some really fun things aligned for us coming up very soon. So you're not going to want to miss them. If today's tips resonated with you, I'd love for you to explore this deeper with my Homebody design program. It's where we're going to go way beyond decluttering to create spaces that feel aligned and inspired and uniquely yours. Let me know in the comments which of these tips resonate with you most, or if you have any decluttering tricks of your own. I would love to hear. I am always willing to try new things and see what lands. Stay tuned for day 6. I can't believe I made it to day 6. Stay tuned for day 6 of Holistic Home Updates Made Easy. Don't forget to check out the link in the description to find out more details about the Homebody Design Program. Thank you for spending time with me today. Until next time, be kind to yourself, be gentle. You're doing amazing work, one step at a time. Peace.